You're watching ESPN's Bracket Builder Week.
It's award season, and tonight here in Milwaukee, the quest for team and individual hardware continues as Marquette takes on visiting Syracuse inside the lively Bradley Center. The Orange are led by Michael Carter-Williams, a leading candidate for Big East Player of the Year, although his play has received mixed reviews lately. And Devontae Gardner of Marquette is the front runner for best sixth man of the Big East, but he's trying to rebound from a performance panned by the critics Saturday in a loss at Villanova. It's Syracuse and Marquette in a crucial Big East matchup. Welcome to Big Monday, presented by Bud Light, a part of Bracket Builder Week. 2 days ago, these two teams were part of a three-way tie for first place in the Big East with Georgetown. Now they're part of a three-way tie for second place with Louisville, one game behind the first place Georgetown Hoyas. So the loser of this game tonight will be 2 games out with 3 games to go in the regular season, and realistically out of the race for the Big East regular season title. A very important game here tonight in Milwaukee. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Big Monday. Sean McDonough along with Jay Billis and Bill Raftery. Delighted to have you with us. Syracuse, Jay, lost that much-anticipated game at home Saturday in front of that record crowd in the Carrier Dome. Went down to Georgetown. Scored just 46 points, their fewest ever in the Carrier Dome. It's a long struggle of late to score for Syracuse.
When Syracuse has lost games, they haven't been able to make shots. And when you're not making shots, you have to improve the quality of your shot. They've got to get better shots. I think that Michael Carter-Williams and Brandon Trish have to have good games. When they play well, Syracuse usually wins, and they can't settle for bad shots because you know what it's like when you have to settle.
And Marquette, Bill, trying to bounce back as well. They went down at Villanova Saturday night.
It's all about mental toughness, something you lack as well. You know, it's value in the basketball, making good judgments, particularly against the zone. You got to penetrate, you got to change the offense frequently because they take things away. Cuse is great at that end of the floor.
And let's look at tonight's one-on-one.
Well, for Marquette, it's all about getting the ball into the lane. They want to get paint touches. When they do that, they score at a much higher rate. That means that Syracuse is going to have to pack the lane and make Marquette prove it over the top. You don't want to let them dribble it into the lane. You certainly don't want to let it get entered off of a pass because that collapses the defense. Then you can kick it out to an open shooter. That's when Marquette's numbers go way up.
Well, the Cuse on the loose, a disgruntled alum here at the table with that intro, but when they get running, you turn it over, cough it up. They finish with the rest of them.
Here are the lineups. Syracuse just 4-4 in their last 8 games. Carter-Williams with Brandon Trish, C.J. Fair, Jeremy Grant, and Rakeem Christmas. Fair's been particularly strong of late. Marquette looking for its 20th win of the year with the senior junior Cadogan, the point guard, or Cadogan, the point guard, whatever. You know what we meant. Xander Blue is their leading scorer. Who is the player of the year in the Big East Conference? You can join the conversation. Vote on Twitter. There are the candidates from which you can choose. Make sure you use the hashtag Big East POY. Mike Stewart will throw the ball in the air. Syracuse in the orange. Marquette in blue. Christmas and Otule to jump center. Roger Ayers and Doug Shows are the other officials, and Christmas controlled the tip for the Cuse.
Ooh, right there, Sean McDonough, Jay Billis. Marquette Cuse.
Syracuse trying to involve right away the big guys in a ball screen, getting Chris Otule away from the basket. That was big time.
How about Jimmy was saying to all of us that he's got to score for them to be good. He's got to use the drive, maybe get some confidence in the outside game, Sean.
And Jimmy would be
your former
Jim Boeheim,
colleague.
Legendary Hall of Fame coach. Who doesn't know that? Acrobatic start for Michael Carter-Williams, and now Mike Stewart with a foul away from the ball, and Jim Boeheim able to voice his displeasure 32 seconds in.
Whether it's Chris Otule or Devontae Gardner, Syracuse is going to involve those big guys in ball screens to try to get them away from the lane so they can attack the lane, get better shots. That was well executed by Syracuse right out of the gate.
Marquette just did get it into Juan Anderson. Now Junior Cadogan.
Nice. That's an open spot. Now you got to finish. That's where Syracuse is good closing.
Christmas was called for the first foul. This one's on C.J. Fair. His first.
Christmas has to stay in front of Anderson there. You cannot get on the side of him. Make him shoot the ball over. You get into the middle of the lane. That's where you can have some options, but you've got to have a playmaker in there, and you can't overrun the play.
Juan Anderson, sophomore from Oakland, California. Was 57% for the year from the line. An otherwise good free throw shooting team. Buzz Williams about to earn his 20th win for the 5th year in a row. At least 22 games in each of his first 4 years as head coach at Marquette.
How good of a job has he done here at Marquette?
Incredible. Just the intensity that they play is extraordinary.
A shoot-around wears you out watching them. They go so hard.
Well, we have to sit with some people that we have to overcome as well.
You guys abandoned me at the shoot-around today.
I was wondering why it was so pleasant.
Good ball movement, get in the gaps, and that trap, that's a tough spot to be in that corner. You're going to make a quick decision.
Turnovers are the big problem for Marquette in that loss in Philadelphia to Villanova Saturday. They turned the ball over 19 times.
Much better defense there, Jay. Showed bigger.
C.J. Fair, blocking foul called. Buzz Williams demonstrably hoping for a charge, but he didn't get the whistle. Junior Cadogan called for his first foul.
Don't you love the pace that Fair plays at? Nice out. Well, he was standing there for quite a while, by the way. You don't want to go tough early?
No, I think the vast majority of charges are blocks. So I'm certainly not going to complain about a block call. I think there should be more of it.
Wow. That's an upset. Jim Boeheim, 912 wins. And Mike Krzyzewski with 950 has more. And C.J. Fair. Well, we talk about Michael Carter-Williams being a candidate for player of the year, but to me lately, C.J. Fair's been the best player for Syracuse.
Well, I'll tell you,
He's been a more consistent player, hasn't he?
The more you watch him, he does a lot of little things for this team. Trish is going to have a big game, I think, if they're going to win too, Sean.
Cadogan. Now Trent Lockett. Flicked away by Trish. Down to 14 on the shot clock for Marquette. Not a good three-point shooting team, just 30% for the year. Second to last in the Big East. Cadogan, no. Trent Lockett traveling the call. I think the Syracuse folks would have been satisfied with a held ball call. Instead, it's a turnover.
Syracuse has done a much better job trading off, but here, this is where you got to do your damage, I think, against this zone. Sneak in, be aggressive.
But Chris O'Toole was doing a really nice job of getting into Rakeem Christmas. He's going to pick up a foul on Christmas if he continues to do that. He's occupying him, and that helped open up the offensive glass.
Much of Syracuse's struggle the other day, guys, is against zone defense. I know Marquette prefers man-to-man, but you think we'll see more zone tonight? O'Toole with a block of Christmas underneath. Michael Carter-Williams a three.
And to answer you, yes, I think you will see it. Their favorite is the man-to-man, Marquette, Sean. Oh, no, the load up there. O'Toole, you were talking about it before. A little more aggressive that time, Jay.
First foul on Chris O'Toole. That three ball from Michael Carter-Williams is first in 5 games. He was 0 for 5 from beyond the arc in the last 4, and he has seemed, you can tell by the few attempts, reluctant to shoot the threes as he's lost touch with that shooting stroke. Devontae Gardner quickly off the bench. Marquette, 3 trips, 3 turnovers.
And Sean, he scored the layup. That's what gets you in the game too, Carter Williams. A little more relaxed, play with a little confidence when you've hit the board.
2-2-1 three-quarter court pressure back into a 2-3 zone now with Devontae Gardner in the middle. You have to be able to penetrate this. You can't just throw it around the perimeter.
Carter-Williams. Offensive rebound by Christmas. Full 30 seconds on the shot clock.
Christmas doesn't even look
I
at
was
the
just
basket,
going to say, got to be a threat.
In the spirit of Christmas, he's a giver. And Trish missed the layup all alone inside with the left hand, and then a Syracuse foul in the follow-up action against Jeremy Grant, his first.
There's some easy opportunities. Not taking advantage.
Grant's going to go out, and James Sutherland comes in.
A guy who can really stretch a defense, making about 3 threes per game since his return.
Instant offense. Great range.
So Gardner not as active as Otule to keep Lakeem Christmas occupied in the middle.
He does set a mean screen, though.
There's going to be a foul right there on Christmas. He's got his arm around.
Nice entry. Good duck in.
And Jamil Wilson with the first field goal of the game for Marquette. More than 3.5 minutes in, and now the fans can sit down, at least most of them. Not those in the student section, the Fanatics.
Well, here's that 2-3 again. At the end of the sequence, they had switched man the last trip.
Well, given how much trouble the Syracuse had with the Georgetown zone up in the Carrier Dome, you might as well make them take some time off the clock and try to force them into the shot you want rather than the shot they want.
C.J. Fair, long miss. Rocket got knocked down by Christmas on the rebounding action. The crowd wanted a foul.
That was a Big East left tap.
Wow. So Dugan a floater.
In the crack. Take advantage. You don't want even matchups. Split defenders.
Dugan was the only Marquette player who scored in double figures at Villanova Saturday night. 10 players scored in the game for Marquette. Cadogan's 12 led the way. Boy, Gardner, what a clear out on that rebound, creating space to knock Christmas out of the way. Now for the lead, Vanderblue gets the bounce.
That's one way of attacking the zone. Beat it down before it gets set up. Good push and the counter in the corner.
Trying to quiet the crowd, they do. Carter Williams to Fair. And a technical foul has been called.
That'll be number 2. Unfortunately, hanging on the rim. Unfair. Huh?
Jim
was hanging on the rim,
doesn't
that's not
know
a-
what it's about, wants an explanation.
Yeah, but if it was hanging on the rim, that's not a personal.
No, that's true. Correct.
Gets us to a media timeout. So you see a lot more hanging on the rim these days than that. What it was with a slap of the backboard.
Yes, it was.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And in part by Lexus and the RXF Sport. It's what's next from Lexus. And Dead Man Down, the explosive new action thriller in theaters March 8th. Rated R.
Early start here in the Central Time Zone, just after 6 o'clock local time. The tip, the folks still filing into the Bradley Center here in downtown Milwaukee, where we just had a technical call against C.J. Fair of Syracuse.
Just a baseline play off of the 2-3 zone, and after he dunked it, he hung on the rim and slapped the backboard with his left hand, and the officials called that an unsporting technical. Be 2 shots and then point of interruption. So Marquette
not a
will get the
personal
ball.
foul.
Not
No
a personal
personal.
foul.
So still just 1 foul on Fair. Not often you see a guy the size of Devontae Gardner, the designated free throw shooter, but at 6'8", 290, he's the best free throw shooter for Marquette. 85% for the year. That's 4th best in the Big East. Well, they did go 0 for 2 from the line in Villanova. Now he's missed his last 3 dating back to Saturday night.
Jerry Wainwright was saying just to keep the lead sustained a little bit. Those free throws really hurt you in tough games. Close games, I should say.
Jerry Wainwright, the former DePaul head coach, now an assistant here at Marquette. One of the all-time good guys in this or any other sport. Still a great passion for the game. Just turned 66 a couple of weeks ago.
We met him at 5-Star years ago. Ran the camp. Davey Odom was his colleague.
5-Star Tavern.
Well, we managed late in the evening to cover our bases. By the way, this is one of our favorite cities for what they export.
Vanderblue. Michael Carter Williams on a traveling call, as did Jim Boeheim. They didn't get it. And Blue the bucket. He's their leading scorer for the year at just under 15 a game. Marquette's made 4 shots in a row after the slow start.
He has really improved that jump shot. His mid-range shot, he goes straight up and down. It is absolutely perfect.
He's just a driver when they need Trish to ring the bell. He was just a driver last year. Blue, that is.
Trish had a rough game Saturday against Georgetown. He's off to a slow start here tonight.
He had a rough game against Villanova, but he's been playing very well before that.
And a good catch into traffic. Wisely pulled it away. Jamil Wilson long with the jumper and the rebound down to C.J. Fair. He's the leading rebounder of the year for Syracuse at 7.3.
Well, James Sutherland got his hand right in Jamil Wilson's face. There was contact, but no call.
Well, look at him. They're just staying at home on the catch. It's a good jump shooter, Sutherland.
Well, you can't trail him. If you trail him, it's going to be a shot.
And a man for Marquette. 7 to shoot for Syracuse, down by 2. Carter Williams a long 2, an air ball, and a shot clock violation.
Vanderblue, there you can see, just kept his toes on the floor. Awfully close. Well, he came off with his left foot, maybe he kept his right foot down. But that was awfully close. Jim Boeheim was asking for a travel.
Evaluating the toe dance.
And they say he doesn't like to travel.
It's interesting when we're talking to Jimmy, he's saying that a lot of teams in the league are playing zone. But he taught them in a way.
Took a pretty hard hit by Trish. No whistle as Lockett moved to the elbow. Trish underneath, nice pass. Sutherland fouled on the way up.
Transition defense been excellent by Marquette. They're very attuned to the ability of the open floor to Cuse.
So much of that is effort, and it's rare that you don't see all-out effort from a Marquette team, but Buzz Williams was displeased with the effort and energy level Saturday night at Villanova. Don't look now, but if Villanova, Sutherland made the first. If they win the night at Seton Hall, and they'd be favored to do so against a Pirate team that's been decimated by injury, that'll be their 10th Big East win. Who would have expected that when the year began?
19 and 10 they would be as well.
And we've gotten such great play from Ryan Arcidiacono, a freshman who is unselfish but can really score. I read the other day when Jay Wright said, how come I get the freshman that can really score, but he wants to pass all the time?
Coaches are never happy.
Steve Taylor Jr.'s in for Marquette, number 25. Trevor Cooney, number 10, in for Syracuse, the top of his zone.
Makes the top of the zone a little bit smaller.
Yeah, they really do attack those. Step it up. Nice hands.
By Musa Keita, who's in the game, a good defender. Out of bounds to Syracuse. Bracket Builder Week continues. Big time matchups on Super Tuesday. Tomorrow night at 7, top-ranked Indiana on the road to face the Golden Gophers. And then at 9, number 8 Florida in Knoxville to battle Tennessee. Also available live on Watch ESPN. What a performance by Indiana last week at Michigan State. They look like they are emerging now as clearly the best team in the country. Gonzaga, number 2 in the new poll out today. Highest ranking ever for the Zags.
We're really got to get on top of Cooney, too. Cooney's going to be a heck of a shooter. Just has to have the confidence.
But a really rough year shooting. That's a beautiful pass. And by Musa Keita with the dunk. He has not scored in the previous 4 games.
Nice adjustment by Cooney, too. They ran up knowing he's a shooter.
Best way to bust a zone is to penetrate it. Make 2 play 1. You can't just stand on the perimeter. Windshield wipe it around.
Mayo, his first shot. Up and in for Steve Taylor, and a chance for a 3-point play.
Well, he played well. Offensive rebounding the other day. Deserves the minutes. Great position. Nobody checking. You're checking area, not guys.
When we come back, we'll discuss the leading candidates for Big East Player of the Year. Here are some of the leading candidates for Big East Conference Player of the Year. Syracuse sophomore guard Michael Carter-Williams leading the league in assists and steals. Otto Porter does it all for Georgetown. 16 points, 8 rebounds again. Russ Smith, second in the Big East in scoring at 18.5. And Jack Cooley of Notre Dame, just about a double-double every night, averaging 14.5 and 11 rebounds for the year. There are others. Bryce Cotton of Providence is the leading scorer. Shabazz Napier, perhaps, of Connecticut merits discussion. Who'd be your pick?
I would take Otto Porter just because of what you said. He's done everything. You know, he's shooting over 50% from the field, 45% from threes, an excellent defender. He rebounds, he passes, he gets steals. I think he's the player of the year.
He's so good, they named a section of the Cuse there. Otto's corner.
That's the Syracuse mascot.
Oh, I thought it was after Porter. I think he's played great.
I think he's going to win it in a runaway if it was right now. But as they say, it's not right now. There's much more basketball to be played, but he's the best player on the team that right now is the best team in the league. I think he's the best player in the league. 33 points Saturday at the Cuse, 12 out of 19 shooting. The rest of his team went 7 for 35, and they still won.
Amazing. They really deployed beautifully, but he was exceptional, cutting, getting prepared offensively. By the way, he is quite a prognosticator, Sean. Picked the Emmys or the Oscars, excuse me. He was right on.
Every single one of them.
Did you really?
Bang, bang, that's it. Bill can tell you. He was
amazing.
He was wagering away in a futile fashion.
I never collected, even though every prediction was right on target.
Back to the 2-2-1 three-quarter court pressure. They went back to a 2-3 zone last time they were in this.
Steve Taylor Jr. completed the three-point play. Marquette by 2 and 5 lead changes in the last 4 minutes of this game. By Sutherland, way short, out of bounds. It'll be Syracuse ball with a full shot clock.
Would you call that a settle?
Yeah, you know, he had Cooney behind him.
Yeah.
He should have said something, really. Maybe he didn't holler at him. Nice cut. Ooh, breakdown. You know, when you're not used to playing zone, things like that do happen.
Yeah, well, they were in man there.
C.J. Fair, the easy bucket. I looked over at Jerry Wainwright. Saw the time they spent this morning working on Syracuse's out-of-bounds plays. Jerry said they have about 15 of them. And Buzz is going to look at me during the game and say, which one are they going to run? Like I'm the amazing Kreskin.
Well, they were just confused there because, you know, 4 guys were in man, 1 guy wasn't in anything.
And that doesn't help, no matter how many plays the opponent has from out of bounds. That's a travel. Vander Blue with the 5th Marquette turnover already. That's a problem that carries over from Saturday.
Well, Fair's been in great shape in terms of running. I hope I got the right guy from this distance, but they weren't sure what they were in, maybe, and they did. You're right. I think some guys thought they were in zones. Others thought they were in man.
Well, for those of us who are paying attention to Jay, that is what he said a moment ago. James Sutherland. Trevor Cooney ran it down. Fair got knocked down the other side of the lane. That's deflected into the backcourt. And then a collision. Mayo and Trish. Great hustle by Mayo, but he flinged it out of bounds.
Why did he save it? Trish was the one that had knocked it out.
He threw Trish off, too.
Look at this. And that's going to be their ball.
Apparently he didn't know that.
Ball ball over Brandon Trish to get that ball. What tremendous hustle by Junior Kaduna.
Well, you better hustle in this program. Could you handle the boot camp that they have preseason?
No, it's brutal.
What do they do you know?
They run a lot. I have heard it, you know, it's one of those things where just making it through it is a tremendous accomplishment, but it's a great bonding experience for all the players that they have to bond together just to make it through.
Oh, Trish just discarded the defender Mayo.
The defender wasn't in legal guarding position, but
I think it's the arm that gets him, though, you know, but
yeah.
he's strong, too.
It wasn't, yeah, that's the thing that kind of bothers you a little bit. It wasn't much of an arm. There was a little bit, though, but the defender wasn't facing the ball handler initially with 2 feet on the floor to maintain it. Once he gets sideways, it's the offensive player. So you make contact, that should be a foul on the defense.
The first foul on Trish. Lockett, who transferred in from Arizona State. They play 1 year at Marquette, got his degree in 3 years. in Tempe by Musakita. The rebound for Syracuse. 9:20 to go first half. Tied at 14. Cooney for three.
But they've been working on that stroke for him. He's been sliding a little bit. Jerry McNamara, for one, assistant coach, really paid a lot of attention to detail with his stroke.
Well, you start making that shot, all of a sudden the defense got to come out to you. That opens up some opportunities to drive the ball for Brandon Trish or Michael Carter-Williams if he's in there.
Blocked by Sutherland. Cooney had been 0 for 7 over the last 5 games from 3.
Nice play here.
Now he wants to make it 2 in a row. Kept alive by Musakita and C.J. Fair the up and under.
Interesting with Cooney, he was moving there. He didn't get square.
I thought that C.J. Fair was going to screen that low man, but Cooney just circled up behind. Got a good shot.
7 straight points for Syracuse.
There's the trade-off and the recovery.
Tulane really goes after that middleman on the zone and occupies him.
Excellent ball movement.
Coverage right here.
Lockett, they're running out of time with 3 to shoot. Jamil Wilson well short.
Very good defensive exchange for Syracuse. They're so long and active.
Nice pass.
First sent it underneath. Musakita. 2 tries at it. Then it was ripped away by Otule.
Marquette stays in man. They're going to continue to ball screen with the man that is being guarded by Otule or Gardner. They're going to try to get those guys out and involve them in ball screens as much as possible as a walk.
Yep. And Lockett called for the travel. Marquette scoreless for 4 minutes and down by 5.
Well, the Heimer was lamenting the inability to stick the deep ones out of Delaware. Honed on the East Coast. Need more of that from Cooney.
I'm Reese Davis, SportsCenter right now, brought to you by Sprint. Some sources confirming to ESPNBoston.com that Patriots quarterback Tom Brady has signed a 3-year, $27 million contract extension that will keep him in New England through 2017. On ESPN2, Baylor's playing Oklahoma. Brittany Griner has 6 points. That's tied her with Maya Moore of UConn for 4th place on the all-time scoring list. Right now it's 22-15, number 1 Baylor up on OU.
All right, Reese, thank you. Syracuse leads by 5 in this very important game for both teams. Both 1 game behind first place Georgetown in the Big East. Each of these teams have 3 games left after tonight. In the case of Syracuse, a very difficult remaining schedule. They have home games with DePaul and Louisville, and then they go to Georgetown for the regular season finale. But when you're right there battling for first with Marquette, Georgetown and Louisville, you play all 3 of them. In many ways, Syracuse controlling its own destiny.
And both those games against the higher-ranked teams against Georgetown and Louisville are at noon, aren't they?
I believe so. Yeah, he's excellent step and go.
And 7 points from Michael Carter-Williams.
Yeah, Jimmy Boeheim blames TV. One of these big games coming down the stretch.
That's why he can afford those fancy clothes he's wearing.
Open middle of the last trip, really effective, Joe.
It seemed like Marquette was a little more effective in the zone. They got Syracuse stand around a little bit.
They watched the Georgetown game Saturday. That's all Syracuse did in their half-court offense for most of the game. Just stand around and look at the Georgetown zone with very little player movement. Cooney short-armed it a bit. And leading the way, Vanderblue. Out of bounds by Sutherland.
And Michael Carter-Williams did a really nice job to get down and in front of Vanderblue, just to slow him down a bit. Caused him to slow down, go off 2 feet. That allowed Sutherland to catch up and block that shot. That was really well done by Michael Carter-Williams. Pretty good by Sutherland, too.
I thought he walked when he backed up there. Ferris giving the signal. But that's so vulnerable. You got to go deep. Don't even test the waters below the baseline.
Well, Marquette's got to look to screen this zone at times, too. You screen the top of it, ball screen it, and then overload the opposite side.
Well, under that time, normally they've been going over.
Mayo missed the three. Marquette got it back. They're 1 for the last 10 from the floor. And another turnover, the 7th for Marquette. And they've had just 5 field goals made.
They've been really loose with the ball. Now, you're going to turn it over a little bit against Syracuse because they're really good defensively. But Marquette's coming off a game in which they coughed the ball up 19 times.
Okay, it's inexplicable how tough this zone is compared to others. I know we all talk about length, position. I think it's adjustments, too, to what you run. You get away with something, and they just tighten it up.
Something you don't see very often. You don't see a whole lot of zone, and you certainly don't see a zone that's a primary defense with the length and athleticism of Syracuse.
And you can't simulate it in practice. Nice, clean, open look. And that guy, Sean, rings the bell with the best of them.
He sure does. It's an 11-0 run now for Syracuse.
You got to be patient. You're going to get caught late in the shot clock.
Junior Cadogan. Sutherland had it taken away for a moment by Jamil Wilson. And a held ball. It'll stay with Marquette.
Syracuse does a good job against this zone of moving the ball from side to side, but it was just slow for Devontae Gardner, who's not a guy with a lot of foot speed, to get out off that ball reversal and get to James Sutherland just outside the short corner there.
Crowd very quiet. They're not used to seeing this. Marquette 14-0 at home this year. They've won 23 straight in this building. That's the second longest active home winning streak in the country, behind only South Dakota State. Won 30 in a row at home. They don't play another home game this year. Three wouldn't go for Jamil Wilson. And they've gone well over 6 minutes now without scoring, nearly 7.
If I were Gardner, I'd say, hey, fellas, I've been working my backside to get free. I don't get a touch. You got to pound it in there a little bit. You can find a little opposite and do some damage.
Plus, you get it in there, it frees it up to come back out. They do play inside out pretty well, and this guy plays well. He doesn't have many bad games. C.J. Fair is as consistent a front court player as there is not only in the Big East, but I think in the country.
Just slipping and cutting into the post area, and good recognition.
Timeout, Marquette. 13 straight points for Syracuse, leading by 11 in Milwaukee. NBA Wednesday features a doubleheader on ESPN at 8. The Warriors take on Syracuse's Carmelo Anthony. And the Knicks, 10:30, the Nuggets square off against the Blazers, presented by State Farm. Coverage tips off with key NBA countdown at 7:30. And, of course, it's live on Watch ESPN. Syracuse University retired Carmelo Anthony's number Saturday at the Carrier Dome in front of that record crowd of 35,012. It was a poor performance by Syracuse. Talking to a couple of the assistant coaches today, they said they thought perhaps the players were too caught up in all of the hype between the record crowd, Carmelo being there. In fact, it was the last Syracuse-Georgetown game in Syracuse as fellow members of the Big East. A lot going on to distract the Orange Saturday. That long drought is over for Marquette as Gardner scored.
I'm sure you'd be very proud of the university. They did a great job. The kids were terrific up there. Other than not playing well, it was Carmelo's talk was right to the point.
Sutherland way off. Trish knocks it in from the wing. Marquette went 7 minutes and 40 seconds without scoring before that bucket by Devontae Gardner. Their second leading scorer for the year at 11.5 a game, despite the fact he hasn't started a game all year. Plays only 21 minutes a game.
There you go. He walked, unfortunately, but wow.
Timeout, 3:02 to go. First half. Michael Carter-Williams is on that 25-player list mid-season for the Wooden Award. He's obvious great talent. performances up and down lately.
He's just not a shooter. That's the one thing that he doesn't do well and needs to really improve upon. I tend to think that National Player of the Year is down to Trey Burke of Michigan. There's a lot of momentum for Victor Oladipo at Indiana, but I think Burke's ahead of him.
There they go. Whoa. About 4 bounces on the rim. It wouldn't drop for Michael Carter-Williams. He clapped his hands together in frustration. How about Kelly Olynyk of Gonzaga?
Yeah,
as a
good
Player
name.
of the Year candidate?
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly in that conversation.
Jake Thomas is in the game now. He's thought to be a good outside shooter. Gardner powered his way to the bucket. And he'll have a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play. The foul on Christmas, his second.
He walked the last time he touched it in there, and I just think you got to give him a chance, don't you? Let him power it. Nobody physically can put a body on this guy. I mean, that is huge. He'd take you to the cleaners, big fella.
Well, the guy that helped make that play was Chris Otule. So having Otule and Gardner in there at the same time, Otule was occupying the middle, basically screening it out. So Gardner could get that dive from the high post.
They started that the other day, playing those two together, right, for the first time.
Christmas on the bench with 2 fouls. Otule considered the better defender, although Buzz Williams says Gardner's become a better defensive player. But Buzz Williams says Otule starts because he's a better practice player. Bears gets it to go.
Just finds the right spot.
You can put him in, you can put him in the middle of the zone. He can make plays. Anytime that they've played against teams like Louisville that play some zone, C.J. Fair always seems to have a good game.
He's got 12 points. Sorry, Jay. 18 straight games in double figures now.
No contact there.
Oh, you got your money's worth. And back to the 2-3.
Trish. And he answered the bucket by Gardner. Thomas fouled, and he made the shot from the corner. They're going crazy because he hasn't scored a point in 15 games since December 22nd against LSU.
33 of his 39 were threes. How about this one? Unbelievable. The quick change. And I think you got to beat the zone back. You're having your troubles. Now you're getting it inside a little bit. Push as quickly as you can. Maybe get some good looks early.
Well, it's always easier to beat it back when you take a bad shot. At Syracuse, Brandon Trish took a really bad shot. That was the first pass in that fast break.
4-point play by Thomas. Jeremy Grant's foul, his second. Thomas, a redshirt junior, transferred from South Dakota, who's played very little. He didn't play at all Saturday at Villanova. Carter-Williams turned it over. Cadogan lays it in. An 11-point lead for Syracuse, all of a sudden down to 2.
Trying to make the play off the dribble without making any passes. Junior Cadogan takes it all the way to the rim and lays it in. And Marquette in very good shape after that timeout. Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim just basically told his team, pass the ball. You know, it was very simple. Pass the ball.
That's how you win 9-12. I forgot that.
Nicely into the zone. Nice passing by Musakita. Scores again. He'll have a chance for a 3-point play.
And a heady play too, Sean. Using that rim, little patience around. Collect yourself.
See, that's why he's in the Naismith Hall of Fame. Throw the ball around, move the defense, then attack it after going side for side. It's just good, simple, easy offense.
2 fouls on Otule. Musakita struggles from the free throw line, 48.7%. But made the free throw, the lead back up to 5.
You know, when the crowd was into the game at that time, he was really relaxed during Boeheim. You know, hey, we got ahead by doing things in a sound fashion. Let's get back to it.
Well, plus you don't want to bet. They're still ahead. They were ahead when they called the timeout.
Wilson, the dunk.
That's just taking advantage of a defense that was asleep along the baseline.
Off penetration, too. Gets everybody's attention in the back line.
Shot clock is off. Syracuse will hold for the last shot of the half. Carter Williams. It wouldn't go. He was well guarded by Jake Thomas. Carter Williams wanted to foul. Was not called. 13-5 run to end the half. Highlighted by the 4-point play by Jake Thomas. His first points in 15 games for the Golden Eagles. And the run capped by the Wilson dunk. 3-point game at the half. Reese, Seth, and Jay. The UPS halftime report. We welcome you back to Big Monday, presented by Bud Light, part of Bracket Builder Week. From the Bradley Center in Milwaukee, Syracuse leading Marquette by 3 at the half. Marquette got 19 of its 29 points from its bench, including 16 of the last 18, led by Devontae Gardner with 8 points. Game Track brought to you by DirecTV. Sean McDonough, Jay Billis, Bill Raftery, welcome back. What say you?
Well, Syracuse has done a pretty decent job on the defensive end. They've taken some questionable shots, but they've got to be alert. You've got to keep this Marquette team out of transition, keep them out of the paint. But you also have to be alert in the zone to the backside action. When you attack that baseline defender, you're going to see this Marquette team. Devontae Gardner's going to come up, set a ball screen, and that makes this guy make a decision. And if he goes out to the shooter, all of a sudden that baseline is wide open. You can throw the lob, and Marquette did it very effectively to end the half.
Energy. Push the ball, Marquette. Got a little excitement in the building. Long 3 and 1. Back in it.
Syracuse ball to begin the second half. James Sutherland starts the half. Michael Carter Williams now with Brandon Trish, C.J. Fair, and Rakeem Christmas. Fair, just his second miss. Now 5 out of 7. He had 12 points to lead all scorers in the first half. It'll be Marquette ball. Golden Eagles trailed by 11 in the first half. Junior Cadogan off to Vanderblue. Devontae Gardner starts the second half. This is Jamil Wilson and Chris Otule. So the two big guys again playing together, Otule and Gardner.
And the guards are going under, not afraid of the deep shot, which helps the defense. Collapses it just a little.
Real rebounding challenge for Syracuse with those two big guys in there.
We're going to Gardner. Wise move. Doesn't agree with it.
James Sutherland called for the foul, his second.
Now, Syracuse is long-armed and athletic, but they're not big and wide. Otule and Gardner are big and wide. And when they get into you, it is hard to keep them off a spot or move them off a spot. They're the ones that move you.
Are you suggesting they spread the meal money according to size?
Devontae Gardner makes the first free throw. Now 3 out of 4 from the line.
Well, Brandon Trish was trying to block out Gardner on the other end. He just moved him right under the basket and completely out of the play. So you think you got a guy blocked out, you don't.
Marquette better than 73% as a team from the line. Only Connecticut better in the Big East. 1-point game.
I think C.J. Fair is the guy that can do a little bit of damage in the middle of and behind that zone.
He keeps very active. Here's a little screen, nice pass by Trish.
To Christmas. Rakeem Christmas with his first bucket.
Christmas scored 14 points against Notre Dame. Had 6 field goals in that ball game, and in the 5 games after that, he only had 14 points with 6 field goals.
Dude, they're threatening the deep shot. They're backing it in a little bit.
You have to pack the paint against these guys.
Look at this move.
Gardner fouled.
He's playing with some involvement here, guys. Aggressive. The big guy thought he was going to get an and one on this particular play, but O'Toole's the one that set it up there, Jay. Did you see him pin his guy? Kept him active. The big fella.
Well, you
Can't
can't
hang out.
You cannot, in this 2-3 zone that Syracuse is playing, you can't fan out the shooters. You want some of those guys to be taking perimeter shots. You want to pack the paint and keep it away from a guy like Gardner, who's going to get to the free throw line, force fouls. You want them to shoot over the top.
2 quick fouls on Sutherland, giving him 3 for the game now. He's going to stay in, at least for the moment. Les Williams thought that Gardner, Bill, had awakened last week in their win at Seton Hall. He had 18 points. He hadn't done much in games prior to that. Fair strip. Good hands by Cadogan, who has it back now.
One dribble too many with Cadogan coming from behind.
Wild shot deflected out of bounds as Wilson went to the basket. Marquette trying to take the lead. They led briefly. Their largest lead in the first half was by 2 points.
Pretty good recovery, Jay, too, by Syracuse. You know, transition.
It looked like he shot that ball rather than it being deflected.
Cadogan the runner, and it stays in.
The activity of the big guys is going to open up some opportunities for the guards. Great penetration. Cadogan.
First lead since it was 14-12 in the first half. Sutherland trying to quiet the crowd. Long with a 3, ripped down by Jamil Wilson.
The push gives you a lot more time as well, even if you don't get the fast break. Try and get some screens.
Syracuse not as active defensively as they were in the first half. It's Marquette that's attacking and Syracuse just reacting. Usually Syracuse is more aggressive in the zone.
I think Buzz makes some great adjustments with 2 bigs playing together. Cross-screening, begging.
Vander Blue with 3 that spun out into the hands of Raheem Christmas, the sophomore from Philadelphia.
Well, that was a heck of a block out by Christmas and a terrific rebound.
C.J. Fair puts Syracuse back on top.
He's the guy.
Can't leave him alone, right?
Well, he's the guy that can get free and make that mid-range jump shot.
Georgetown ended Syracuse's 38-game home court winning streak Saturday. Now the Orange trying to end Marquette's 23-game winning streak in this building. Cadogan, another floater.
They're playing with a lot of confidence, mixing up the offense, post play, dribble drive.
Timeout, Syracuse. Marquette by 1, early second half. Big Monday presented by Bud Light continues from the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Critical Big East game. Just 4 games left, including this one of the regular season. And it's Marquette by 1. Junior Cadogan, the man of the moment.
Just getting the ball into gaps, and the big guy's not doing as good a job of stopping penetration. That was a poor closeout by James Sutherland, and Junior Cadogan just attacking off the dribble. Dribble penetration against the zone can be really debilitating.
And the 2 big guys were very active, kept the interior D busy.
Cadogan's a senior. He'll play his last home game here on Saturday. He and Trent Lockett are the 2 seniors to be honored before the game against Notre Dame.
Maybe we'll get some offensive rebounds, I think.
Kyrie Williams tried to force it inside by Musakita, who did not catch it.
He had Sutherland wide open if he kicked it out.
Gardner begging. He's running the floor, playing with a lot of juice.
But you're right, that's occupying the middle of that defense.
Nice trap, dangerous, got to do quick.
Well, Gardner was open, crowd groaned when Wilson didn't fire to him. Taylor tried to throw it and was blocked by Musakita. Carter Williams off to Trish. Just the second bucket of the game for Brandon Trish.
Solid, too. Under control. Good delivery.
Vander Blues had a relatively quiet night. That slides off to James Sutherland. Syracuse the ball and a 1-point lead.
Out of contact. Got to play through contact, they say.
Sutherland for 3.
That's where he hurts. The delay, you've got to come out big and in a hurry on that stroke.
He's better than 39% for the year from three-point range. 10th in the Big East in three-point percentage.
Where they close quick and big.
They need to shoot that right away, don't you think?
Absolutely. Well, the Cuse fans think they're on fire when Brandon Trish is playing good basketball. And of course, to run out here, the ability to make a deft pass, solid play, Jake.
And transition isn't always hitting a layup. You can kick it out to an open 3. Sutherland as good as they get.
One of the traditions at a Marquette home game, the big noggins. Cut out heads of famous celebrities. Former Miami Heat great, the Marquette great, now Miami Heat player Dwayne Wade is Ray Lewis. Who's that, Brian Scalabrine?
It looks like you know.
I think it is
Mouth is
Scal.
open.
Yeah. And they hand them out in the second half. Oh, we have some over here at our table. I'm still drawing more hair on my
Keep going.
Yeah, there's a lot more work to do. But
Just
Jay, you're known to the fact yours is actually actual life size, which is, I think, impressive.
That's very nice. Can we get this on the plane?
He has a big fan in the dog of the athletic director here at Marquette. That's Truman.
Truman doing what we'd all like to do.
Yeah.
Standing tall.
Happy to report that was the before picture. They have a lot of fun with the big noggins. Jamil Wilson trying to say that ball was deflected. Buzz Williams pleading his case with Mike Stewart. And apparently it's going to fall on deaf ears.
You know, the secret for Syracuse is they take things away. Let's see if they can stop that inside attack and the penetration now. Marquette been very adept in those areas. Boy,
Sutherland, another 3.
Trish, big, strong kid, gets into the gap and delivers opposite.
You get into that gap, you make 2 play 1, you freeze that defense, and then you're getting it to opposite to a shooter stepping into his shot. That's just textbook attacking of his own.
2 big threes by Sutherland to key this 8-0 run. Now 8-3 as Jamil Wilson knocks it in. The redshirt junior from Racine, Wisconsin, who transferred in from Oregon after 1 year there. Vander Blues says Wilson's the best player on the Marquette team.
I would agree. At times you see some signs. 41% from 3. Very good around the rim. Jay had that replay when he soared big time.
He's a super athlete.
Trish way off with the 3. Jake Taylor's back on the court. He helped spark that run for Marquette in the first half. With a 4-point play, his first points since December 22nd, 15 games. Wilson wants another 3. A little bit long, but there for the putback. Devontae Gardner, who's been the star of the show for Marquette.
Just carves out so much area with that wide body.
Hasn't missed a shot from the floor. 14-5 for Gardner. Very much a leading candidate for 6th man honors in the Big East.
And the 2 bigs have trouble covering the wings when they have to. That's what's opened things up. Nice presentation by Fair.
What percentage of those shots is C.J. Fair going to make? Wide open at the elbow.
We were talking earlier. He just knows where to go to present himself.
Well, other guys can go there, but they can't make the shot.
Yeah, that's true.
He can knock that down. Well, you can tell a guy all you want to block out Devontae Gardner. How do you block out a guy that blocked out the Sun?
It's tough in the first row.
Nice job by Keita to cut off the baseline.
3 in the air, wouldn't go for Jamil Wilson. And a foul call. Devontae Gardner again doing great work on the offensive glass.
You just can't keep him away. The enthusiasm he's playing with, I tell you, he is a little bit winded, playing both ends magnificently. Big, strong, tough guy, Jay.
He just blocks out himself. He just shoves you right underneath the basket, and there was nothing James Sutherland could do. This is a long, athletic Syracuse team, but they are not big and wide. They do not have strong, low bases, and Devontae Gardner has.
As the mention pointed out, that looked like Gardner awakened when they win at Seton Hall. He went back to sleep Saturday at Villanova. 2 points, 1 rebound in their 4-point loss to the Wildcats. Derek Wilson's coming back in. Vander Blue, Trent Lockett.
Yeah, but the Villanova game, that's not Gardner's type of game, because it's more of a perimeter-oriented game where you're going to be involved in a lot of ball screens, have to get up and down the floor. Same thing when they played Georgetown. You got to guard cutters. So he's not going to play as many minutes in those games or be as effective. But boy, he's been effective in this one.
On the bench, you mentioned, Sean, too. You know, they're fifth in the country with their support. I mean, they rotate 10 pretty effectively.
Steve Taylor in, and Gardner gets a breather. There'll be a media timeout. The first whistle under 12 minutes. The way Gardner's played, I don't think Buzz will have him on the bench for very long.
Gardner gets a breather, so do the Syracuse big guys. They're probably like, thank you, Buzz.
A little nickel dimer here on the trail.
Derek Wilson, who's the backup point guard to Junior Cadogan, called for the hand check. His first foul. The bench points, nothing new. Bill just mentioned it. They get 30 points per game from their bench, so they've already hit that average. They have the 5th highest scoring bench in the country. The bench scores 48% of their points. C.J. Fair missed a shorty. Timeout Syracuse. I guess that wouldn't be a surprise, because there's not a lot of difference in the talent level between the 5 guys who start for Marquette typically and the 5 who come off the bench. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney is a season-long spotlight on games that will impact the NCAA tournament. How about this matchup Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time? Number 5 Miami split from 2 to 5 after the surprising loss at Wake Forest over the weekend. They're in Cameron Indoor Stadium to take on Duke Saturday at 6 on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN. Huge game. Miami still with a 2-game lead. Their first conference loss in the ACC this year. And of course, they hammered Duke down in Coral Gables.
Any lingering memories, you think, in Durham for that one?
Oh, I'm sure there will be. But, you know, I think those things, you know, the sort of the payback thing, that helps you in your preparation to sharpen your focus. But don't you think once the game starts, it's of very little value?
Absolutely. Well, the pregame hype, though.
Exactly, yeah.
Good practices. Straight up man.
Trish came to the jump stop, fired an air ball. Jim Boeheim thought it was because he got hit on the arm. Mike Stewart gestures no, he was not.
It was a perfect trap. Get the timeout. Now they get a foul. Wow.
Fouls on Sutherland, his 4th. Huge development as we go to the media timeout. Larry Reese will look forward to the second half of our big Monday doubleheader, part of Bracket Builder Week. Syracuse by 2. This is a big call right before the break. The 4th foul on James Sutherland.
I thought he walked and he backed up. If anything, you had mentioned to break Trish, and you got an option, maybe give it to Trish, but that is really a difficult position for this kid and for Syracuse. Perfect trap. Whew.
Sutherland on the bench. Derek Wilson now from Marquette, running the show for the moment with Junior Cadogan getting a breather.
Syracuse taking a hit on the offensive end. Jeremy Grant, not the same offensive threat that James Sutherland is.
And he's learning that wing position. He doesn't cover as well as he will eventually.
Wilson is not an offensive threat. He has 1 field goal in the last 8 games, so Syracuse laying off him. Vander Blue, no, and the rebound by Musakita, who's given them some productive minutes off the bench tonight.
Without Gardner in there, Marquette going man.
Tough match.
And Fair fouled by Trent Lockett. Who knew it? Immediately thrust his hand in the air.
Fair is so efficient.
I was just thinking he's got patience, right? He just has a nice pace about him.
He's got, what, 16 points, 7 of 10 from the field.
First foul on Lockett. Fair, one of his many strengths, free throw shooting better than 82%, 7th in the Big East, best on Syracuse. So Gardner's back in. Junior Cadogan has returned. Jake Thomas back on the court. Vanderblue goes out, second straight quiet game for the Marquette leading scorer. Just 5 points tonight. He hasn't scored in over 23 minutes.
And the 7 games before that Villanova game, he's averaging 17 and a half a game. And really struggled against the Wildcats. Well, you have to think with this lineup that Marquette's going to go back to that 2-3 zone, and really only a few threats you have to worry about to score against that zone. Trish, Carter Williams, and Fair.
And more of a power game, too. The shooter.
Thomas, a little short of the three. Chris O'Toole, the offensive rebound.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job on the weak side on rebounds.
Not that time. Cadogan tried the floater again. Keita blocked it. Numbers for Syracuse, 3 on 2. Trish underneath through the hands of Carter Williams to Jeremy Grant.
Well, he had a lot of options there with that push. Fair on the wing, 2 under the rim.
And he's fortunate there that Jeremy Grant was trailing because that wasn't the intended target. Could have been a turnover.
Jamil Wilson. And O'Toole on the glass.
What do you got to do to get a foul in this game?
Oh, he's going to adjust his glasses.
Musa Keita.
The corkscrew delivery.
I don't think anybody in the building thought that was going in when it was released.
Pass the wine list on that one.
And when that shot goes in, you're the opposing coach. You might have to take a timeout.
Oh, goodness gracious. Bye. With a little divine intervention, I think.
Alcindor.
Let's take a look at Syracuse's Big East performance, the Big East tournament. Only in March is the name of this segment, brought to you by Bud Light. And Syracuse, more wins than any other team in the Big East tournament. 14 times in the title game. They've won 5 of them. Played in the very first one back in 1980. You were still coaching in the Big East.
I was there. I stayed the whole week without my team.
Was that their choice?
Hey, and by the way, you know, 35,000. I set the record up at the Cuse. Not one person asked about you. Very surprised.
Disappointed by that.
Well, well, some were wondering when the envelopes were going to arrive.
Great scene up there at the Dome. Be a great scene. Week from Saturday when Syracuse and Georgetown go at it. At the Verizon Center in D.C. to close out the regular season Big East rivalry. Perhaps they'll meet again in the Big East tournament.
Did you ever have to play anybody this size? I mean, you played a lot of tall guys, but physically, just the ability of Gardner to be dominant with that weight.
I don't remember anybody that size that was as effective. Well, remember Warren Martin at North Carolina? He was a 7-footer that he was awfully big.
Do you have anybody who played in the 40s or 50s? So Bill will be in tune with comparison. Foul on Musa Keita, his second. I have to say, given the competition, Musa Keita is having one of the best games of his Syracuse career here tonight. 7 points and 7 rebounds. Gardner's made 10 free throws in a row after missing his first of the night.
And what he does is lets the team be coached a little bit, extend the floor, change the look, steps. I think he's right. Well, they got a foul?
Oh, they're going to call Taylor for a foul at midcourt. And both officials concurred, Doug Shows and Mike Stewart.
I thought he rattled him here, Jay.
Only if you worry about pivot feet.
Well, you know, that's the one thing. You were taught as a young kid, catch the ball, you establish a pivot foot. Like, guys slide pivot feet. That was a tough case, though. He was afraid to charge it.
Yeah, well, the pass was what led to the near turnover. You know, you don't want to throw that pass or down that.
Double Trish knocked the ball out of his hands, then he took it all the way to the basket. Syracuse by 7, 9 minutes to go. These two teams tied with Louisville for second place in the Big East, all at 10-4. One game behind 11-3 Georgetown as we head down the home stretch.
Taylor, pretty good offensive rebounder in there.
Gardner really does have good feet.
He's quick. Gonna have to settle.
Wilson, another three. Steve Taylor Jr. with the push-off. Marquette now 0 for its last 7. They had a span in the first half of 7 minutes and 40 seconds without a point. They've gone cold again here in the middle of the second half.
Again, Syracuse adjustment, too. Not as many entries into the box area or penetrations.
You want to set a ball screen with Musakeda, even though he's a little bit thin.
Push. Just a bit too high. I'd say in the home of Bob Uecker here in Milwaukee.
Just a bit outside.
That was way too high.
His seat's upstairs, I think.
For years, Jim Boeheim's been saying Brandon Trish someday is going to be a great player. The first 3 years of his career playing behind a lot of star players, almost waiting his turn. Thought this might be the year he'd really have the big year, and it hasn't quite happened.
Some games, though, Sean, nice high-low.
Steve Taylor Jr. inside. He'll be in the line after the media timeout. Fouls on Jeremy Grant, his third.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Sean McDonough, Jay Billis, Bill Raftery back in Milwaukee. Syracuse by 7. Time for a look at tonight's power player of the game, brought to you by TurboTax. And no question, it's big. Devontae Gardner of Marquette.
Some toughness out there, Jay. Physicality. They will lean on people.
Lean on people. He's got 18 points, 7 rebounds. He's dished out an assist, and he's dished out about 15 bruises.
Season high 19. He's 1 point away from that. That was against LSU on December 22nd. His career high is 22. So an excellent chance at that tonight. Scored 22 against St. John's January 11th of last year. C.J. Fair leading Syracuse with 17 points. The only Orange player in double figures. Quiet night for Vanderbilt Blues now on the bench.
That's the guy they need to step up and come down the stretch. 2 for 7, 1 for 4 from 3.
With the length he's playing against in the Syracuse zone, hard for Vanderbilt to find open shots.
Steve Taylor Jr. at the line for 2. Wide left was the first one. He's only 58% for the year.
A nice outing in a short period of time. Played 12 minutes against Villanova at 8 rebounds.
Offensive rebounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, he had 6 offensive rebounds out of his 8 in that loss at Villanova. 6-point game. Pressure in the backcourt. Brought by Marquette. Kansas and Iowa State next. 22 straight home wins for Iowa State. That'll be tested against the number 16 of the country. Last touch by Syracuse.
Little double tick on that one. I think you've got to get it to the middle of the floor at some point. On a post up against that 2-2 run.
Mayo back in now. Mayo for 3. 31%
from 3. They're looking for anybody to ring the bell deep.
His first points of the night. Back to a three-point game with 7 minutes to go here in Milwaukee.
Nice cut by Fair again.
Trish. And a good rebound in traffic, and then Grant ripped it away from Taylor. Carter Williams missed a three. Corralled by Jamil Wilson.
I think Fair
And then he was fouled.
I think Fair got the reach in on that weak side.
You are correct, sir. His second.
Looking for somebody to ring the bell, Jay. And Mayo doing a solid job stepping into that shot.
I think when Trish heard the whistle, he thought it was going against Marquette. He felt he was thrown to the ground. 17 foul against Syracuse. So the bonus for Marquette. Marquette's been called for 4 fouls in this half.
Sutherland back into the ball game for Syracuse, trying to get a little more scoring on the floor.
Wilson made the front end of the 1-and-1. He's 77.6%, third best on their team.
I was impressed today with Wilson during the practice, explaining something to his teammates, talking to the coaches. Very engaged.
This Marquette team has tremendous attention to detail.
And a big advantage at the free throw line. They outscored Syracuse by 11 at the line to stay in it. Anytime it looks like Syracuse might pull away, Marquette has responded.
It's dragged the zone with Sutherland, a little kick. Interesting. Earlier they did the same thing, Jay. They put Sutherland and Fair on the same side. That's a tough exchange. See, this is what happened earlier. They weren't sure what they were in when they gave that layup to Fair in the first half.
Throw it out high to Sutherland, playing with the 4 fouls. Carter Williams, Peta, Fair, and Trish for Jim Boeheim. Trish, tough fadeaway, well guarded by Mayo, and he knocked it home.
Big time delivery. Little courage on that one when you're struggling to nail it.
Well, they set a ball screen trying to get Gardner out of the lane, and then we're able to reverse it and then attack.
Mayo to Gardner, with Taylor, Cadogan, and Wilson for Marquette.
Nice defense outside by Williams.
Gardner rolls to the goal.
He's doing everything. Very alert. Nice dive to the 10 by the big fella.
Carter Williams turned it over. Boeheim thought he was hit, as did Carter Williams. Cadogan a miss. Taylor a tip. And Marquette with another hustle play. Cadogan ran it down.
Boy, that's doing work, Kevin. Wow. Unyielding. Give it to the playmaker. Let Gardner touch it.
Syracuse going under those screens up top because they're not afraid of a shooter.
Gardner, yes! And Marquette has the lead with 5 minutes to go.
Most Gardners work during the day, Jay. This one's working pretty good this evening.
And he's throwing his weight around, literally.
Nice, soft, feathery delivery by the big fella. And here, just alert, huh?
Alert with the dive. The defense not quite as alert. James Sutherland with those 4 fouls didn't want to pick up a 5th, but nobody rotated over.
10-2 run as Marquette has reclaimed the lead. Gardner 22 points, matching his career high, 14 of them in this half. He's 6 out of 6 from the floor and 10 of 11 from the line.
Well, Marquette could still be aggressive on the defensive end. They've only got 14 fouls in this second half. You don't have to be shy.
Home court winning streak on the line. And for these two teams, realistically a loss tonight, they're all but out of the race for the Big East regular season title. They'd be 2 games out of first with 3 to go.
This should go through Fair at some point. Here he comes with the flash. Again,
for three. Way off the mark. Ripped down by Steve Taylor Jr., freshman from Chicago.
Still going under, maybe not on Mayo.
Marquette's got to keep penetrating in the lane. Only just settle for jump shots when you get it into the paint.
Got to get some touches inside.
7 to shoot. 4 minutes to go. Regulation time. Wilson. They had to take that shot, and he made it. Tom Mayo rattles one home. Largest lead for Marquette, and now a steal by Cadogan. All the way to the goal line is fouled.
What a step-up jump shooter this guy is. They went under. He makes them pay on the hustle kick out. Forgets to get back on D, but when you stroke it, it's fine.
Big 12 game there. Big East game here. And, of course, ESPN College Basketball is available live anytime, anywhere on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. You can watch all of these big games at WatchESPN.com and with the Watch ESPN app.
Yeah, we were talking about Devontae Gardner's contribution. A lot of minutes for him. He averages 21 minutes, and right now he's at 29. So he's all filled up, ready to go.
Second game in 3 days for both teams. Jim Boeheim talking last night. 6th game for them in 15 days. He's a little bit worried about fatigue.
Well, one way to give yourself a rest is get to the free throw line, and that's what Marquette has been doing throughout this. This is their 21st free throw of the ball game. Syracuse has shot only 7.
Marquette's known for its physical style of play, but they've been called for only 8 fouls in the entire game. Syracuse whistled for 15. Largest lead for Marquette in this game. 6 points. They trailed by 11 in the first half. The Golden Eagles on a 15-2 run.
Gardner really doing a good job communicating the center spot, seeking out people.
Look how active Marquette is on the defensive end. Active hands and feet.
Ryder Williams scores.
Pretty good effort with the kiss at the end.
Really nice body control.
Got a little bang, too.
Got the bump and finished it.
First points of the half for Michael Carter Williams. 4-point game, under 3 minutes to go. Rick Diamond set shot from the top of the key.
Wow. The big fella just dominating. 0 for 4 from 3, but that was within his distance.
Two and a half to go.
Sutherland was trying to sneak behind that zone.
Shades of Saturday when Syracuse just couldn't get a good look against the Georgetown zone. Mosqueda nearly threw it away. Held ball. Buzz Williams is on the court wanting a timeout.
They should have gotten a foul because Trish fouled.
They did. Bean walked back to the bench.
He just knocked Cadogan dead over. Cadogan had that ball and Trish knocked him over.
And right here, the ball fake, freezes the D. The stroke.
Well, he's just an excellent shooter. 55% from the floor. Mentioned earlier, outstanding from the line. 85% starting the night. We'll improve on that with 10 out of 11 tonight. On the alternating possession, the ball to Marquette. Syracuse just 1 timeout left. Marquette has scored on each of its last 8 trips. Big pressure from Syracuse. Nearly a steal by Trish.
Smart play.
Ryder Williams trying to get it away from Mayo. He just does keep control of it. And they don't like the way it's going, so Marquette calls timeout. With 2:02 to go, Marquette the ball and a 6-point lead, and a good free throw shooting team has Buzz Williams, 73% collectively, second in the league behind UConn. Well, we told you at the beginning of the night you could participate in the Twitter poll. Give us your opinion on who's the player of the year in the Big East. Michael Carter-Williams is the choice. We do not concur. All three of us said we'd pick Otto Porter of Georgetown. I think if the coaches had their vote right now, Otto Porter would be the winner.
I think a lot of people from the Syracuse area are watching the game. Not that he isn't a talented youngster.
Syracuse was really going after the ball hard on that last possession. You have to be strong with it, because right now the contact is not being called.
Gardner's been the guy that's been available on any sort of pressure.
Well, when he ducks in, it's not even a duck in. It's like getting hit by a duck boat.
The water comes out of the pond.
Another timeout called by Buzz Williams with a shot clock down to 8. So each team with one timeout. Another thing to file away, Marquette does have fouls to give. They've been called for only 4 fouls in this half, so they could foul Syracuse a couple times if they wanted to and stop the clock, force them to inbound the ball and start over again. We talked about the difficult remaining schedule for Syracuse in particular. Still with Louisville and Georgetown to play. Georgetown, the league leader by 1 game at UConn. Rutgers at home at Villanova, and then the regular season finale, much anticipated with Syracuse. That's a noon Saturday game, March 9th on ESPN. Louisville's at the ball, and Syracuse home game Cincinnati. That'll be our big Monday. Next Monday night in Notre Dame. Marquette has Notre Dame coming here at Rutgers, as we know, is not an easy task.
But if you had to choose a schedule going down the stretch, wouldn't you choose Marquette?
Yes, I would, and I think Syracuse has the hardest. Having to play Marquette tonight, Louisville and Georgetown.
Gotta be quick.
Mayo for another 3. Didn't get the rim, so the shot clock runs out. Mayo's hit 2 big threes here in the second half. He's been a non-factor, very talented player. At the start of the year, missed the first 10 games for academic reasons, got in the doghouse, and hasn't really fully emerged. They made some big shots for them tonight. On a night when Vanderbilt blew, their leading score is just 5 points, has gone back to the bench.
Yeah, Buzz done a nice job slowing the game up a little with this 2-2-1, and here's the steal.
Big strength by Mayo to rip it away, and then Trish fouled him, and Trish hurt his wrist. At least grabbed at it when he first landed.
Well, they made some mistakes with the basketball out top, haven't they? Uncharacteristic.
Mayo just went after that with both hands. He was sitting on that. That was a great defensive play by Todd Mayo.
He's been the difference in many respects. You know, banging shots down.
He's the brother of O.J. Mayo, the NBA player.
And just as soon as Brandon Trish went into that gather right around where it says Big East in the lane, Mayo was right there and with both hands just snatched it away.
Cadogan doing everything out here. Cleaning the floor, whatever you need. We can't get a cup of coffee from Sean, but
he is a very likable young man. Buzz Williams loves Junior Cadogan, one of his seniors. Buzz talks about how, athletically, in terms of the skill set, you look at him, maybe he doesn't match up. He's not the fastest, quickest, whatever. Not a tremendous shooter, but a great team leader. And he's had a terrific career here at Marquette. So now it is Mayo at the line. They've had an outstanding night. Really have won the game at the line if it stays this way. They've made 18 of the last 19 free throws. They've outscored Syracuse now by 14 points at the line, and the lead is 7.
And once again, the pressure slows the pace down. You can't go willy-nilly.
And you can still be aggressive with those fouls to give. You don't want to foul, but you certainly don't want to let Syracuse get up anything easy.
The zone keeps you in abeyance as well. Oh my goodness, he can do that though.
Sutherland for 3.
On the catch, you've got to hug him.
You were there Saturday, Bill. He made one very early in the game about that distance, and it seemed like it was a negative because not only did he continue firing,
Trish did,
but it
yeah.
looked like the whole team got caught up in it in the moments that followed.
They were talking today about be there, lock and load on this guy, hide him. Whew. That is incredible.
No matter how much you talk in the scouting report, it's hard to guard somebody right by the half-court line and think he's a threat, but James Sutherland is a threat from there.
That was your point, too, with Gardner. Like, check him out. Come up with that play.
Go get him.
So 5-point game, Marquette with the lead, 1:10 to go, and Marquette has the only timeout left for either team. So what are these coaches saying in their respective huddles?
I think the Cuse can extend the floor. They do a good job, trapping that 1-2, 1-1, and it's very hard to speed the game up with that 2-2-1, though. That's the difficulty if they score, if Marquette scores, coming up. I don't know how they can just hit the middle and maybe turn it into an advantage.
I mean, for Marquette, you know that Syracuse is going to come after you. They're going to go for steals, so you got to be strong with it and then step to the line and hit free throws. But everybody's got to be in a blue shirt, has to be a receiver, come back to the ball and run the ball into your hands.
And this is where the length of Syracuse is very helpful. Big on the ball. You see Fair going to play the inbounder. Michael Carter-Williams with great length.
So that foul situation really favors Marquette. They can be as aggressive as they want to be without fear.
Full court pressure from Syracuse. They enter blue to play it in with C.J. Fair guarding the inbound.
Here's the trap. They don't get the rotation in the middle.
Cadogan got it across, and now will pull it out, and Carter-Williams fouls him. They'll try to lengthen the game. 1:04 to go. Cadogan for the line to be 2 shots the rest of the way. That's the double bonus now.
72%. More than adequate for your point guy.
Two for 2 tonight for a junior from Toronto, Ontario. His 109th career game at Marquette. In the top 10 all-time in assists. Number 9.
Big for Marquette, I think, to make sure the threes aren't hit by the Cuse. Get out there, make it an awfully tough position to be in.
The excellence continues at the line. They've had many more opportunities, and they've capitalized on them. Marquette's made 9 free throws in a row here down the stretch. Sutherland are about that same distance. Tipped by Fair to keep it alive. Sutherland again. Comes right back to him. Steps back for 3. Another one. Will the 4th time be the charm? A lot of time running off. 35 seconds to go. Sutherland got it.
Oh, goodness. Well, you're so vulnerable on an offensive kick out.
And Mayo fouled quickly.
That was like a 3-point version of Moses Malone.
You're right. Jason, get your own.
It was like one of those 3-point shooting contests. Except he wasn't standing with a rack of
put the ball
balls
rack
in one spot.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Foul was on Trish. That's his 4th.
Wasn't he 1 for 5 on threes on 1 possession?
They really did a great job slapping it back out and finding them, though, did they?
2 shots for Mayo. 81.6 for the year. Whoa. There goes their streak of 9 in a row as a team. Mayo's 2 out of 3 from the line tonight.
Now you can foul here and really slow the advance. Only 33 seconds left. There's really no reason. Let it come up and then foul.
Yeah.
And there's no reason
right here and make them inbound it again. Yeah, they do. Smart play. And Buzz Williams holds up one finger as if to say, let's do that one more time.
So you don't have to do it right away. Let as much time go off as you can.
They found make sure he's doing on a dribble, not a shot. They foul Carter-Williams.
I would have waited longer.
I would have. He was not going to attack the rim.
Yeah, ride him all the way to the 3-point line, then foul him.
I don't see teams really practice that. The fouls to give, letting time go off and How to do it well or not well.
Oh, they don't cover him. A good screen.
Sutherland again. It popped out to Devontae Gardner. Well, two candidates for the sixth man of the year in the Big East, Sutherland and Gardner in this game. And Gardner has been the star of the night. Career high 24 points, 7 rebounds.
This gentleman is an absolute load inside, but he's got terrific feet, very good hands, a soft touch. And he has been doing it from every spot on the floor.
Plays with a lot of spirit, too, doesn't he? Great enthusiasm, slap the floor on the defensive end.
And tips the Richter scale when he runs.
He's from Suffolk, Virginia. All-state player there. Kings Point High School. His mom played at East Carolina. Sheila.
And those shoes he's wearing are mesmerizing. Can't say that I've ever seen those before. Are those zippers on them?
Yeah, I think so.
You'd look good in those, Bill.
I've got a pair. Oh! Good stroke.
Brandon Blue returns for Steve Taylor. And Syracuse 20 seconds away from going down to defeat in back-to-back games for the first time this year, unless they can really pull off something major. Carter Williams got away with a little shove with his free arm on his way to the bucket. Down by 5, they foul with 15 to go. Carter Williams reaches in on Jamil Wilson. Excuse me, to the second time this year that they've lost back-to-back games. They lost to Villanova and Pittsburgh. Back-to-back. Marquette has not lost back-to-back games this year.
This is a nice answer for Marquette. Playing poorly and that turned it over 19 times against Villanova to bounce back against a highly ranked Syracuse team is a nice answer.
They are making their free throws coming down the stretch. So essential for the victory.
I'm gonna have to repaint the blue spot right in front of the from dribbling it so much there. They have owned the free throw line.
21 out of 23 this half. 22 out of 24. Mayo goes out, gets a nice hand. The crowd appreciates his important contribution, particularly those big threes. C.J. Fair for 3. They don't have any timeouts. 4-point game, 8.2 to go.
Yeah, good cut to get free.
And Wilson fouled by Trish with 7.4. Trish is fouled out.
They've done an excellent job just getting it in. Maybe he read that book of yours today. Toughness was all over. I was embarrassed when you charged him, though.
Not enough. Never enough.
Trish fouls out with 8 points, 8 assists. 4 out of 10 from the floor. Wilson, as the free throw clinic continues.
Did you give any thought to missing this one?
I don't think so.
No,
I take the point. You know, that 2-2-1 doesn't impede their progress. Yeah, I will.
Kyrie Williams. That's it to go. 2-point game, 0.9 to go. And they foul with 0.2 to go. And for all intents and purposes, it is over.
Yeah, with under 0.3, all you can get is a controlled tip.
They can fire it all the way to the rim and hope for a tip. And of course, if Blue makes both.
I thought it was interesting.
4-point game.
I'm sorry, Sean. I thought it was interesting when Jim was saying we've got to get better. You know, coming down the stretch of the season now.
Now, would you miss this one on purpose? And there's no way.
Yeah.
Syracuse can win the game if he misses. Now you can throw it to the rim for a tip in. a moot point, as you might expect. Wilson picks it off. 24 straight home wins. They rally from 11 back to do it, led by Devontae Gardner. Big Monday presented by Bud Light continues. Kansas and Iowa State. Let's send you in. So long, everyone.
Just underway. Iowa State having won